All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I think you guys can hear me. I think I need to change this banner up in here for sure. That's for one. I hope y'all can hear me today. Let me know. I'm so glad y'all are able to join me for today's broadcast. Yes, yes, yes. Let me know. Let's see. Let me go back to my comments and see if you guys can hear anything. Let's see. Edit my audio avatar. It's not open. Gotcha. All right. Do we have sound up in here? Yes. Okay. We got sound. Yay. Girl, I be trying up in here. I told you, y'all auntie, y'all auntie be trying. Ooh, yes, honey. So glad to see everybody. I hope y'all are having a good Sunday. Y'all, this Sunday message, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little nervous about this one. I'm going to be talking about a man's true nature. And if at any point y'all get offended, sister, I want you to hear me and hear me really good. Please don't hold this against me. I'm going to tell y'all to just go talk to Scheherazade Ali because she was the one that started this. And, this is just a healthy conversation that we need to have. And I want to say this again. Sis, let's just blame it on Scheherazade Ali. We want to have a real conversation today. I don't profess to know everything. I really don't. And I also want to say that although I am a woman, although I am a full natural woman, I am very male identified. Okay. I'm a male identified woman. And I realize that. Meaning, I understand men differently. Okay. I understand men differently because I have traits that are very similar, although I am a woman. So I will say this. It's easy for me to talk about subjects like this because I've gone through my share of deprogramming in Western society. And I'm not afraid. I'm just not afraid to talk about this. But I know that being afraid and, talking around it ain't going to help nobody. So, brothers, listen up. Seriously, this conversation is really for you. A lot of you guys that have not had a safe space to talk about this. If we can put in the chat, artkathy@gmail, I'm going to be having a private chat to follow up on this topic because it is so important and it is just for our brothers to have this safe space. So send me an email at artkathy@gmail to be a part of the male only all men Zoom call about this. Okay. So, whether you're in compliance or not, Mother Nature is undefeated. Undefeated. Okay. I remember Scheherazade Ali talking about Black men and the historical nature of Black men and how Black men have historically been non-monogamous and stuff like that. And that comes up a lot because we have a society that's hell bent on accepting every other alternative sexual lifestyle that there is, but we're just so scared to talk about some stuff as it relates to our people. Now, this is not just a poly conversation, so y'all just go ahead, chill out. This is not about that. All right. I know y'all tired of hearing that, but really seeing that so much in our society should start to tell you something. Okay. For real, for real. And another thing, every man is not built for poly. Every man wet dream and fantasy is not to have a threesome. It's not. Is not to have multiple women. There are men that are wired for one woman. Okay. There are a lot of men like that. There are a lot of men that have been programmed for that. And I've always said polygamy as well as monogamy should have been an option. We should have never been pigeonholed and Black men should have never been backed into a corner of only monogamy. Okay. That was Judeo-Christian. That was not African. All right. And I'm very clear about that. That's why people were mad at Scheherazade Ali when she talked about that. Historically, Black men were never monogamous. That's just not the thing. And if you go over to Africa right now, all African men are not practicing polygamy. Okay. But for a lot of men out here, y'all are struggling. It's a lot of y'all struggling. And I'm going to call this king past life syndrome. Now, we like to get real hotep and talk about past lives, and we was in our past life a king and a queen. Okay. All right. I'm calling this king past life syndrome because modern society is getting in the way of your true nature, Black man. Okay. And so when we talk about this and talk about the proclivity and the natural innate nature for a lot of men to be attracted to more than one woman. Now, this is not all men. This is a lot of men, though, I would say. But this is not all. But this is a way to start to understand a man's true nature, not the nature that you've been telling them they can only be attracted to one person, the nature of Judeo-Christianity. This has not got nothing to do with that, because God knows that policing a Black man's sexual nature has always been the game. Okay, that's always been the game, controlling how many children we have, controlling his nature and his masculinity. So y'all ain't got no spaces to talk about this. You have no spaces to talk about this proclivity, this nature you have. And I'm gonna tell you why I know it's a real nature that is being struggled with, because we have terms like ENM now, ethical non-monogamy. Look that up. And a lot of single brothers right now are choosing ethical non-monogamy. What is ethical non-monogamy? Ethical non-monogamy is when you are in a relationship, but you let them know upfront with all truth that you're not going to be the only one that they're dating. That's ethical non-monogamy, or better yet known, or AKA open relationships. It's just a really pretty fancy word for open relationships. But a lot of y'all have king's past life syndrome. What does that mean? Okay. This is when in your past life, you actually were a king. And now this is not for all of y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all right now, this is not for all the men, okay? It doesn't apply. And I'm not going to be on here too long, because I just want to invite the ones that you've been struggling with this. You haven't had words for it. You haven't had a community to support you around this. All you've had is just struggling relationship after relationship, infidelities and all of those types of things. And I'm not excusing infidelity, but I'm saying, why don't we look at it a different way? What if someone's true nature, in their true nature, was really to have more than one woman, and being in a monogamous relationship always puts them in a situation where they're going to cheat? What if that person, that man that constantly finds himself always stepping out, always desiring someone else, even if his relationship is good, what about that guy? Because there's a lot of people out there like that too. We are too scared to talk about this conversation. A lot of men, some of you that this applies to, you may attract women very easily. This is some of those indicators of that king's past life syndrome, because in your past life, and darn sure not in this one, you had many women. What if that was a fact too? Because again, a lot of us aren't really willing to go there with our spiritual nature. We know that we're our ancestors. We say that all the time. We know that other races are their ancestors coming back and acting like them, but we are also our ancestors. And what's happening is a lived reality that we're having. Y'all don't have no space to talk about this, but that's why I had to stick my neck out here today, in the face of scrutiny, in the face of being called a panderer. Oh, I'm just pandering to men. Oh, I'm giving men excuses. No, I'm not. Because if you can be allegedly born gay, you can be born poly. If you can allegedly be born gay, you can allegedly be born to be polyamorous, and born to have more than one woman, and born to have more than one man. I'm sorry, I'm not going there right now with my women. But for men, that's very real. We're not going to keep sliding and scooting that part of history under the rug, because what's happening is it's coming back out in the consciousness. It's coming out in our experience of our relationships. It's coming out in your inability to maintain relationships. It just is. This is a part of you that you are struggling. And just like with somebody that's attracted to the same sex, and you got to live in the closet and fight against it and tell yourself, oh, I'm happy in my relationship. Oh, I just want this one woman. And that little thing just keeps gnawing and nagging at you. And you're starting to think, oh, okay, maybe it's the women, maybe it's this. I'm just giving you another way to look at it. Again, send me an email to artcathy@gmail. But for those of you that think that this applies to you, you've been struggling with this, in the subject, put king past lives. Put king past lives, because a lot of y'all have had that inclination to want to take care, and a lot of it has nothing to do with sex either. A lot of y'all, and ladies, listen, this may or may not apply to your man. I don't know. I'm not trying to mess up your relationship. All I'm here to do is talk about the facts about men. And we can blame it on Scheherazade Ali if we want to, because she was the one that first started it. She said it. I even talk about this in my book, talking about husband sharing. Husband sharing at its truest, purest nature has nothing to do with sex. This is about community, because even when you look at men in societies that have more than one wife, it's not about, coochie. A lot of the women have different roles that they play. There are things that you can do. And so for those of you and men that are struggling with this, just spoiler alert, if you have no room and space to explore this, and a lot of you really probably won't, you probably will never fulfill your fullest potential, because it requires multiple women to manage these aspects of your life. I'm going to say that again. If you're struggling with this, just because you're not acting out on it and not talking about it, doesn't make it go away, okay? You will probably never fulfill your fullest potential, because it requires multiple women to actually manage these different aspects of your life. Now, you probably like, oh, well, why can't you hire somebody? Hiring somebody, they don't have the same sense of loyalty as a wife would. And if you look in other cultures, just like the super rich Asians and Indians and that have multiple wives, it's about procreation, but these other women are in the picture to manage an empire. Now, I'm just saying, I'm not that hotep that's going around telling people that polygamy is going to save the Black community. I'm not one of them, because a lot of y'all out here talking that talk, and y'all don't really need to be talking about it. Y'all need to really sit down. We don't want to hear from you, okay? And if you don't do this in the context of elders and tradition, you are doing this in the context of confusion. That's the only way we should really have this conversation. And when we have the Zoom call with our brothers next week talking about a man's true nature, this ain't about telling you that you need to be one woman and all this type of stuff. No, we're going to let you be free. We're going to let you see the real context and how it's done properly with tradition, with elders, and with real African spiritual practice, indigenous knowledge. We're not talking about this man-made stuff that we got over in Western society. If you want to go back to your true nature, if you're a Black man, go indigenous. I don't care if you choose African or a native. I don't care, because even the natives had more than one wife. So I'm inviting those men that identify with that have been struggling. You can even put in the subject struggling. You can put struggling in the subject, because you're struggling with this. Cheating is just a byproduct and a symptom of someone fighting against a real inclination, whether that inclination is to be out of the relationship and away from that woman, or the inclination is to, you know what, I want to stay here, but I want something else. We have to talk about that. Nobody's talking about the king past life syndrome. We just want to talk about men are cheating because they're dogs and they have no discipline. What if it was a spiritual inclination and it's really their nature? It's who they really are. This is not for every man, y'all. Again, I have to keep saying this. This is not every man. Every man's desire and wet dream fantasy is not to have a threesome. Every woman's desire is not to be in a polygamous relationship. I know this don't apply to everybody. I'm giving my brothers, I'm setting those free that have been struggling, because believe it or not, just like this LGBTQ movement, y'all, we ain't gonna be able to keep this one under wraps. Y'all think we just getting started with seeking sister wives and stuff like that. What you're seeing is modern society getting in the way of your nature. Thank you. Thank you so much. He said it takes a bold woman to tell the obvious truths. I've been saying for baby. I'm so ready for my sisters to be through with me, because in some way you feel mad. Y'all was mad at first when men was kissing men, but y'all okay with that now. Y'all got real okay with same-sex love. For real, for real. How in the entire, that's how I know we backwards in this society. Don't be mad at me when I say get the fuck out of America and I want to go to Africa and all that type of stuff. I ain't got time for people doing pronouns. There's no way in hell that Black men would ever see their fully realized potential with their true nature in this country. Oh, baby, in this country, they want y'all to do everything women say. They want you to buckle down to feminism, never be attracted to another woman, live with this monogamous cloud over your head. And I talked about this in the book. There is a looming cloud that circles over every relationship, and we all know what it is, and it is cheating. It ain't got nothing to do with a man being a dog. It has probably way more to do with men being in touch with their true nature, but there's no damn context, language, or acceptance for this. This is on page 63 in my book. Y'all go to artkathyofficial.com or send me an email. I'll send you this ebook tonight so you can read this. This is on page 63. Infidelity, husband sharing, village, and polygamy. There is one dark cloud that looms over all relationships. We all know it's there, and its presence is felt by the average person, becoming the most common fear of all in love: cheating. Dun, dun, dun. Believe it or not, infidelity was a foreign concept to many of our ancestors. I'm still reading. At that time of marriage, rituals were performed to maintain loyalty and commitment in the union. But in Western society, things are left up to chance. This is problematic because a couple's commitment should be constantly renewed. Okay, and I went on down to say that it's time to deal with this head on, as we've become a generation of people so afraid of being betrayed that the mere idea of a healthy partnership doesn't exist at all, and we can't build if we remain broken in this regard. And my point is that your Black union should liberate you to a greater sense of existence without an unhealthy sense of attachment or possession. And for African people, and yes, you're African, living in a cheating, obsessed society, hashtag American whorehouse culture, these become the dominant thoughts throughout the collective instead of nation building, which ultimately means you're living out of a place of fear and not love. Checkmate for racism. Okay. So I said this also, it's a lot of people that don't really fit into monogamy. The truth is that we fall into one or the other. We tell ourselves that, but the actual truth is that you fall kind of between somewhere, between the both of polygamy and monogamy. And you have to find your way, especially if you're a man, okay? This is for my brothers, all right? This is just for my brothers, all right? Because I know my sisters are done with me. They are like, what? But I think that, and even with past lives with sisters, you say that you were queens, but queens also allowed their kings to have many wives and concubines. So I know that we're having an ancestral awakening. We are having an ancestral awakening, y'all. The warrior in us is waking up. The kings in us, the builders, all of those things are waking up inside of us. The powers of our ancestors are coming back, and this is a part of it that's coming back inside of us. This is also waking up too in our brothers, and it ain't going nowhere. Sisters, y'all better get used to this conversation. I'm not saying you got to get with a man and juggle multiple women. No, because again, this is not for every man. This does not represent every man's dominant thoughts. This is not his innermost thoughts. And again, every man's wet dream fantasy is not to have a threesome. So brothers, those of you that this doesn't apply to, you already know that's not you. But those that those are the ones that's still hanging on the line right now, that's still listening. I only plan to do this for 30 minutes. Those that's still listening, you finally got a space. Welcome. You finally got a space where somebody's telling you it may not be called cheating. This context will call it cheating. But what we're doing is witnessing modern society get in the way of a man's true nature. Okay. If you look at it in that way, you can empower yourself. We can have a completely different conversation around this. And I always felt like once sisters get on board, everything will change. If you really see that you're really in control, you have the power. And if you really loved your sisters like you said you did, this wouldn't even trigger you. That's how I know it's no real love in the sisterhood. Don't ask me if I'm going to share my man, girl, because hell, I've been messed around and said yes to y'all. I ain't ready to come out the closet. I ain't ready to come out the closet. Y'all be in my inbox. I know my man is fine. No, that's not what we saying over up and through here. Baby, let me tell you something. I ain't scared of it. I ain't scared of none of that. The thing is you're not supposed to be afraid of the conversation. That's the point. That's the whole gag. And so when me and my brothers have this conversation next week, I'm gonna have some elders on the line, and it's gonna be men only. Men only. Men only, because if you're not in the context of wisdom, tradition, and structure, you have the context of confusion. And I don't enjoy listening to the subject of poly or men having multiple women. This is actually a lot deeper than that. Men are actually waking back up. Our men are waking back up to their true nature. And this is not even just for our men, child. Everybody waking up to their true nature up out in here. Okay? You said that right. He said, my father told me, whatever you want to do with women, be honest and don't lie. You'll be surprised when women would agree to if you're honest. Listen to me. It'd be some old school stuff. Old school stuff. And see, let me say something else that's controversial. There are a lot of women too that are cool with it. That, you know, the women that's cool with it and they say, just don't bring it up in my house and da 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 da. They have an ancestral memory of one of them wives that was the second wife. And okay, listen, we all having this ancestral memory that's catching back up. We do. It's a lot of women out here that ain't that mad at me talking about this because we just want some damn solutions. Like the women that really got love for each other, because just like I'm talking about the King Past Life Syndrome, there's some women out here too that's with it. And they like, yo, ooh, Lord, bisexuality has nothing to do with this. Lord, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. Sister wives ain't got to be doing all that other stuff. No, ma'am, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about really having a village. What kind of villages are y'all talking about? They must not like each other in y'all villages. My type of village, I really rocks with the women in my village, and I really want for them the same thing that I want for myself. So I ain't really stingy like that. I've dealt with a lot of my emotions, jealousy. The deprogramming has already begun with me about 6 years ago. That deprogramming and the jealousy, that pain that you go through with infidelity and cheating, thank God that I had a different context of African spirituality and real elders and understanding of life and spirit to know and give it a different language and conversation. If we don't change this context, we're going to be going all over the place. It's a different context. Completely different context that we need to have. And so when we're having that wisdom being brought to us, if we had a whole, just like Mormons, just like anybody, they have a whole spiritual path and spiritual doctrine. They have a spiritual support system to back them. They have a community to back them. Black people, we don't have that yet. If we had a real healthy environment to foster this type of knowledge and growth, all we got is some old crazy hoteps online with beanies and koofies and unks and yelling in the cameras. You know, I wouldn't mess with this stuff either. It's no real leadership around this. So the sisters don't want to hear nothing from it. I don't want to hear y'all talk about it either because y'all don't have a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out. They say nor to pee to make piss. You know, we got mental issues. So, you know, we got to deal with a lot of stuff first before we go here. However, on top of all that, you have the laws of society and the laws of nature, but the laws of nature will always win, and they are winning right now. So, brothers, if you're one of the ones that's been struggling, you're not a cheater. You're not a habitual cheater. You're not a no good man. You don't just have a wandering eye. You probably have a King Past Life Syndrome and an ancestral memory waking the hell back up. And if you're single, men, and you have found yourself saying that, man, I'm good on this relationship stuff, it's probably because you can't figure out how to really manage this whole westernized relationship, because cheating and infidelity come up a lot for you. For real. It just comes up a lot. Don't nobody want to touch it. You don't want to even get into another relationship to have to end it again and have to deal with that again. Like, this is for men that have seriously been thinking that, dang, I am really attracted to another woman. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's not. Why did we even sign up for a doctrine that said that you were only supposed to be attracted to one woman for the rest of your life? Look, if that was really real, if that was our true doctrine, it would have fell down on all of us. And those of us that chose to be monogamous would have just stayed monogamous. And those that wanted many would have had many, but we should have had the option. Period. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. I miss doing these lives too. And like I said, sister wives, not scissor dykes. Yes, honey. I know that's right. Shout out to you, brother Rahman Muhammad Ali. I appreciate your love. And I want to invite you, even if you're married, even if you're in a relationship and you don't feel like this applies, but you're kind of curious and want to be around other men. Yeah, come to this Zoom call. Come to this live Zoom call next week. It's men only. Okay, and it's going to be facilitated by men, elders, and people that can really speak on this subject. I've kept them in the background because, again, this is almost the beginning of the rainbow coalition. It's like the LGBT child. This is the beginnings of it. Like, we having to meet in secret and everything. Like, we got to keep it cute. But after a while, it's going to be out there. And I want to be one of the ones to say, this is what a little bit more of what Sister Scheherazade Ali was talking about. And I'm just giving it context to modern society and telling you, when we think about cheating, when we think about infidelity, when we think about a man's true nature, y'all got men right now you sleeping next to, and your uncles and cousins that can't even talk to you about this. They could never say this. So what we essentially do is, we program our men to be the best liars in the world. It's just like with your children. If you're so strict and you're so this and that, once they get out that house, they gonna act a fool. And you teach them to become better liars. Men already don't talk. Men are already the ones that are not as vocal as women. So you think this is not a big thing they keep in secret? Girl, I'm telling you right now, I'm busting open all of the men's journals. They're private journals, things that they have never been able to tell you. Even if you're in a relationship, they cannot say it. Even if you're in a relationship, brothers, right now, and you are struggling, this is really for you, for real, for real. And I mean, of course, those of you that don't even want to get into a relationship because you don't even want to deal with it, and you don't think this is the right environment for you when you're going to deal with infidelity at some point because you stepped out and all that different type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, really want you guys to join this live Zoom call next week, and it's for men only. You're not going to be judged. This is a judgment-free zone. And this is a safe space, because if we can have safe spaces for people that want to change their sex, change their pronoun and all of that, we got people cheering for them. Who is cheering for Black men to be able to have the option of being monogamous or poly? Who? Not our women. I think I'm in this by myself, for real, for real. And I took a risk even talking about this because sisters immediately feel some type of way. They don't want to join the womb school, honey, that's teaching them how to reverse diseases because they got a problem with this woman talking about this. When people start to see the revolution, y'all are having a revolution, Black men. I can tell. I see it. I see you, boo. I see y'all having y'all ENM, ethically non-monogamous movement. I see y'all having y'all own sexual revolution around here, and y'all ain't finna be arguing about it. Y'all trying to find different countries. Y'all are literally trying to find communities for this. So I said, you know what? Let me make a safe space. Let me put out that signal. Let me put out the signal. Let the brothers know somebody understands them. Let them know that this is judgment free and nobody's going to look down on them. But this revolution is happening for y'all, and I'm kind of excited for you because no one's ever giving you this. I think you'll be a lot more optimistic around love when you start to be realistic around your nature. Let me say that again. You'll become more optimistic about love when you start to be honest about your true nature. When your true nature is accepted, that's when you can be excited about marriage, women, and all of this stuff. For real, for real. And so we have people that are okay with that. We got women that's okay with that, that are down for it if you're just honest with it. But you're going to have to start being trained and start to get confidence around this subject, brother. So send me an email, artcathy@gmail.com. Sisters, We got sisters that have that queen syndrome as well. We have sisters that have concubine syndrome. I feel like the sisters on Mari that's taking random semen and getting nutted up in by all of these dudes, they got concubine syndrome. They got concubine syndrome. What the hell you think that is? It's not just men. Men are not the only ones that are waking up to their true ancestral nature. Women have this too. Women have the same not all women, and you have to say that. Not all women have the inclination to want many men, but there are women that do. And this is about finding your true nature. This is those innermost thoughts that you have. You know who you are. You know what you truly, truly want. Yes, girl, concubine syndrome. I'm talking about you done had sex with 3 men in a day and you had 16 total and you don't know who the baby that is? Yeah, that's concubine syndrome because you ain't give a damn. You was just out there talking about come inside. Come inside. That's what the concubines is out there doing, girl, because, hey, some people like the club being shot up. I like shoot up the club. Shoot it up. Okay? Ain't nothing like getting your club shot up, child. So you think it ain't some women out there that want it from you and another one and another one and another one and another one? Yes. We have that too. So I just think it's time for us to have that true conversation with ourselves about our true nature. And it's okay for y'all to have it with me. I'm just that sister that's not afraid. I've dealt with jealousy. I've dealt with what that looks like. But I just see us missing out. I just feel like we would have so much more if we weren't so afraid of the topic. Honestly, I see so much peace in relationships if we could just let our brothers free and be like, hey, you want to go mess around? I'm not saying you need to give your man a hall pass, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not throwing out no more percentages because y'all hate me when I do my percentages because I love 80%. I love 80. 80% could probably be wanting it. I mean, yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. So I don't know. I'm just saying, let's just say it's 40%. 40% married or in a relationship. That is the real. I'm honest. Look, listen. I really do believe that it's a large percentage of men because of this king syndrome and our ancestral memory being reawakened in so many of us. I really, really do believe we have a big population of men. If we didn't, we wouldn't have so much infidelity and cheating. There would be no such thing, y'all. There would be no such thing as infidelity and cheating. We have to start respecting and acknowledging a man's true nature. And they have to be able to have this conversation because they're just going to keep signing up to relationships that they're lying in. You're going to keep lying in relationships. You're going to keep getting in them and not really being satisfied. And I heard this from the elder's mouth. We said men that are not, that's on the fence about this and whatever, just know this. You will never fulfill your fullest potential because it requires multiple women to manage these aspects of your life. It requires that. Your true purpose, your calling, what you got to do. I'm sorry, it's not an employee-based thing. It ain't something you can pay and outsource. No. Just like here, my ancestral memory and code tells me to have babies and to do this. I'm biologically knowing that that's true. And so in the same way, knowing your potential is not being fulfilled, you know that as well. And it can only be fulfilled in a certain family structure and in a certain context. So we just haven't found out what the context is, what it is. We just know that we're living a life that we're not so pleased with. And we don't have the real satisfaction in our relationship if you are a man. As I said in the first beginning, I'm a male identified woman. I'm very clear about that. I even have a male spirit. Okay, I have a male spirit. I'm in a female body. Yeah, let's get real weird with it. Yeah, that's a real thing. So I was told that was, honey, I'm a male spirit in a female body. I can talk about this to my men. I can talk about this to my brothers because I know y'all are dealing with it. And I just feel like I've been chosen for this conversation to help my sisters, to usher them in, because I have been through the same pain. But the pain that we experience is the programming. When you go through that pain of cheating, infidelity, it's It's like when you in the gym, they say pain is like, weakness leaving your body. When you go through the pain of infidelity, it's actually an opportunity for you to understand a man's true nature, to get somewhere deeper, or get deeper perspective on that. That's really what that's about. And I know we haven't ever been told that, so we wouldn't know to say that. We're gonna say, nah, he just ain't shit. He just was okay. I mean, you can keep doing that, but silently, what men are gonna do, they're gonna silently sign up for this revolution I'm talking about right here, and get with the women that understand their true nature, and not to put them in a box of, oh, you can't be attracted to another woman. That's not good. That's Judeo-Christian. And if he's a halfway piece of conscious, he already thinking different. He already thinking out the box. He's already had this conversation with himself. Okay. What'd you say? You're the first person to probably say you are male identified and it's not a negative thing. Thank you. When you are sure of your. Thank you. Who are you? I love you. Oh my God. I love my brother so much. Oh, I just love y'all. Love my brothers. And I had to have this conversation for y'all. I hope to see y'all there. I want to have at least 10 brothers in the Zoom call, at least. And I want to start having these conversations and creating these safe spaces for you. I've done a lot with the womb school since 2017. I haven't done nearly enough with the warrior school. But I do want to invite all my brothers. Give me an email, put in the subject King, past life syndrome, or struggling. You can just put struggling in the subject. I'm going to scream, and I'll definitely read your email first. But I want to connect with you guys. I want to know that you heard me. And I really want you to know that somebody understands, and it's not in the context of cheating. I don't even like that word no more. We just been seeing men's true nature, and it's modern society getting in the way of your nature. That's actually what we're seeing. Okay. So if you do want to come to this call to support, to be in the room, you are welcome to. Ladies, if you have been feeling like, you know what, I appreciate this sister, for talking about this, join the womb school. We want more like-minded women. If you want to learn how to reverse diseases, take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. The womb school is not to prepare you for polygamy. It's not to groom you to be a second wife. It's none of that, okay? So I would love to see some like-minded people up in there, and I just appreciate all the love and support about this. So a man's true nature, I'm not saying 80%, but I think it's a large percentage of men that do have desires for other women, and they get caught up in monogamy in Judeo-Christian society, as we have in Western society in the States, and they don't have a place or context where they can be who they really are. Okay. And that's just that on that. King past life syndrome, struggling. Yes, put that in the email, put that in the subject for this men only Zoom call. Thank you so much. And thank you for sending me cash apps, $ Art Kathy. I really appreciate that. And you'll never know when YouTube want to demonetize videos, child. I be trying to keep it clean. I think I did this time, but I really do appreciate all of your support on the cash app, $ Art Kathy, and every piece of support you've given me throughout the years. But I'm kind of going to be sticking my neck out there more. I'm going to be dedicating my time to this Zoom call, leading up to it, and even afterwards, because we want to give our brothers solutions. We want everybody to really build Black love. Look at my last video I just made, why people are giving up on love. It's a real epidemic in our society. It's a lot of brothers that don't even want to do it because it's like, I don't even want to start this. I'm not going to be accepted. I'm not going to be, you don't want to do it. You just don't want to do it. And it ain't nothing wrong with you. We have a society that's just not that healthy for Black love. And especially if you have some type of king past life syndrome going on, you don't want to put anybody through that. So I see a lot of brothers out here that want FWB, friends with benefits. You see that a ton. All you want to be available for is just for maybe sexual gratification and some companionship, because you can't really see a full out relationship. You just can't see it. And we got a lot of reasons for that. We got, lack of quality women. We got a lack of a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about those of you that are struggling and feel that you're being pulled, even if you're in a relationship with one woman and she's great and all of this, but somehow, some way it just comes back around. Oh my God. Like that right there is always going on in your head. So we'll open this up a lot more. The queen past life syndrome is very real too, because we have some brothers out here that are just as quiet about being okay with that lifestyle, just as we have sisters that are quiet as hell about being fully accepting of their man that has king past life syndrome, because they don't want the judgment, they don't want the backlash. And so the same with men, they don't want the backlash either. There are just some people that are on a different plane of existence, thought, and emotional IQ, where, monogamy, or just the regular, I'll say the typical relationship structure, just may not work for them. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So we can see a lot of different structures if we have that courage to have the conversations. But I want to start that with this network and this community on this day. So if you are a woman, man, you've been interested about this, I would love to hear from my sisters too. Send me an email, sis. If y'all felt something around this and everything, if you felt like, well, dang, I'm with it, I could deal with sisters and I've never seen a problem with it. You probably have queen past life syndrome. Those are the real queens, by the way. Now, we can't be hollering about we queens, but just gonna tell our king that he can only be attracted to one woman. What kind of king is that? That ain't even like true to the real word. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But anyway, so I do want to hear from my sisters too. If you feel like you have some type of queen past life syndrome and you have always felt that, listen, as long as you don't bring it to my front door, I know this is in your nature. If you old school like that, like it's some of y'all that's really okay like that. And I'm not saying this is the norm that I want to set up for people, because I do ancestral arrange matchmaking and all of that stuff. That is not what I'm pushing my sisters into, is to get with men that's going to have multiple wives. Like, I got to talk to the fear, y'all. I have to talk to the fear, because people do not want to mess with you when they start seeing that you think different. I mean, again, we got past LGBT. Their discrimination, they don't even have to be discriminated against like that for real. Y'all done just accepted them, but I got to be nervous? Why I gotta be nervous talking about this? See, that right there, because of all the judgment, all of the perceptions, all of the projections that you project on me. Oh, well, she can't get, she didn't. Oh, well, why? Oh, well, she just the old. You see? But y'all just watching Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Y'all cool with Tyler Perry. Y'all cool with the church musician flaming around. Y'all cool with all of the fairies. Y'all cool with all of the, dykes and whoever else. But we can't talk about a family structure and talk about accepting a man's true nature, especially if he's a black man. Y'all better go on somewhere. So don't come for me. Don't at me. Don't come for me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Especially you Christians. Y'all better not do it. Y'all better have the spirit of David and Solomon around there, because Solomon sure enough had 800 wives and 1,100 concubines or whatever the hell it was. But y'all just want to skip all over that. So did the Muslims, the Islam community. They want to get into the multiple wives either. So everybody didn't just politely put that underneath the carpet, but all y'all did was a disservice to the brothers, because y'all never allowed black men to have the option to be in their true nature, to be monogamous or polygamous. So in our culture right now today, I'm starting that trend. I'm starting that conversation. Yes, it is in a lot of men's true nature to be attracted and want to have sex with more than one woman, even if he is in a fulfilling relationship. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. It has something, Lord, it's like you can have a really good steak dinner and like Mexican too. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? We would never tell somebody that they were like a food, a food, whatever, horrible person in food because they like different types of food. Girl, it's not personal. That's the part where we ain't doing that. We are not doing that, because again, if you really love a man, if you really love your sisters, like you say you do, if you really, really love your man and you love your man, you got to love his nature too, sis. And a lot of them, they would rather them cheat. And that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all know it too. And that's why y'all are going to stay in these relationships and lie and be silent and, dap up with your boys in secret and have the side pieces and stuff like that. Side pieces would have never been a thing had we had this conversation at the right time. It would have never been a thing. It would have never been a thing. So I'm just trying to tell y'all to, these are some options. We need to get up out of this bottom race to the bottom. We got to get out of this ratchet culture. This is one of the ways that we're going to get out. We have to start allowing our men to be men. understanding their true nature, or we just gonna keep fighting over and over again, y'all. Y'all trying to make them something that they'll never be. We will see this issue. The ratchet videos will get more and more ratchet and violent. Violence? People killing each other on live because of this. Had we had this talk and had this programming, we would have never had issues in our relationship. You understand me? We would have never had it. No violence, no drama, no stress. You're not worrying about who texting you. You're not worried. Imagine a world where you have peace of mind that your man actually loves you. He loves you. Like, when you really love your man, like, you don't, I don't know. I'm not even gonna like start saying some stuff because y'all gonna really think I'm crazy. But if you really loved your sisters, I'm gonna put it on your sisters. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just wish we had more love in the sisterhood. We wouldn't be fighting with each other. If you found out your man had somebody else that he liked, you would immediately go to her and y'all would just cackle it up and go to lunch and shop and just like, girl, I don't have time. I'm not doing this with y'all. I know y'all mad at me. Okay. I just know it, and I ain't even fixing to do that. I know y'all upset, but I'm just saying, if we had a world where sisters really loved each other, we would have been a lot further along. Black men, y'all wouldn't have to be fighting as much as you do. You would have a world that accepted you as your strong king selves to have multiple women. You would have so many babies. You would be rich. You'd be building empires. You'd have more than one black woman by your side helping you build that empire. I don't know about y'all, but I make way more money in the company of a black man and a team. We would be rich, peaceful, and everything else. It would be beneficial. So, guys, look, if y'all ain't finding people that's cooperating like that, it's okay. It is women that do want to cooperate, okay? Don't worry. There are women out here like that. We can do some rituals and do some real good black magic, honey, and make them come in your life. And I'm very serious about that. We ain't got to go around and around and around in circles. Honey, get that bad juju off you. Get around some people that's talking that real talk. I promise you, y'all are not going to be disappointed on this Zoom call. So if you are a man, you've had this type of thought, you were wondering what the hell, you in your relationship, you happy. This is confidential too. Okay, this is very confidential too. And if you want to get the book, I did talk about that section on page 63 with husband sharing, polygamy, and village, infidelity, husband sharing, village, and polygamy. If you want the ebook, send me an email. I can send that right back to you. Okay. I can send the ebook today, or if you want to go on Amazon and get the hard copy, that's fine too. But I'll read this last part on page 63. Infidelity, husband sharing, village, and polygamy. There is one dark cloud that looms over all relationships. We all know it's there, and its presence is felt by the average person, becoming the most common fear of all in love: cheating. Dun dun dun. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for hitting up the Cash App, $ Art Kathy. Send me a message, artkathy@gmail. If you've been struggling, if you do know that, you know what, I've been having this kind of inclination. I'm in a relationship. I don't want to get in one. I don't know what to do. I want more than one. I'm not sure what it is. If you've always felt like you may have been ENM, ethically non-monogamous, if you feel like you identify with that, poly, or you're somewhere in between, or just wanting to know more, hit me up. And I did write a blog, Confessions of a Sag, artbodysoul.blogspot.com. It is rated X. It's adult content, and I go into detail about alternative sex lifestyles, why BDSM is not going anywhere in the Black community, why we have dark, twisted rape fantasies. Like, girl, I get into it all. And this was in 2016, right after I had baby Garvey. I was being just really inspired to write. I was getting a lot of inspired divine downloads from spirit, my ancestors. And I promise you, everything I wrote on that blog is so relevant to now. It's scary. Even look at a article I have, last straight Black female in Atlanta, not a little bit of bi. That I'm talking about that as well. So sisters, you don't have to be bisexual to be a sister wife. You don't have to be ashamed. There's a lot of shame and judgment around this. You don't have to have shame and judgment. It's just another way of life and a lifestyle that we're having to normalize the LGBT movement. They did theirs. They did theirs. They done got support and funding and a flag. Like, y'all, come on now. So we have to have our revolution too, because the brothers are having it, whether the sisters like it or not. And as I said in the book, we have the laws of society and the laws of nature, but the laws of nature will always, always, always win. And they are winning now. So y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I really appreciate your energy. And be sure to like, share this video, especially if you got some friends that's been struggling. But I do want to hear from my sisters too. If you feel like you have a queen past life syndrome, and my brothers, if you have a king past life syndrome, and you've really been struggling with some of those proclivities to have more than one woman and don't know what it is, and you need a safe space, I'm inviting you to the Zoom call next week with a lot of our other brothers, and we're going to be having a really good conversation about it. We're going to unpack it over and over again because we ain't done. So thank you. I love you too. I know, didn't they stick together, honey? LGBT, they stuck together too. And you know what? If you riding with me, stick with me on this, because I promise you, I see y'all brothers with this ENM and pop. I see y'all, and you ain't got no judgment over here, baby, because you are really just tapping into your true nature. I love you, brothers. This was one for y'all. I love y'all so much. And I know it's because I'm male identified. So love y'all, and I'll see you on the Zoom call about this soon. Peace.